Analisa 6 here with the Lady of Leisure and the Sober Curator to bring you the September 2024 horoscope for the zodiac sign of Sagittarius for sun and rising placements. This is Cosmo, my new dog. He's a 9-month-old mix. We think maybe Papillon and Chihuahua. Kind of thinking he might have some kind of terrier in there because he's got some really long legs. Yeah, he's adorable. I just got him yesterday. I rescued him from his foster mom who found him in her alley, and we were kind of obsessed with each other. Bam Bam is passed out, but he's doing really well with him. Bam Bam's my other dog, and yeah, we're having a good time. He's got a lot of energy. He's only 9 months old, so yeah, it's exciting. I'm really excited to have him. All right, well, let's go ahead and jump into the horoscope. I'm excited to look at this because I am a Sag rising myself, which I tend to mention every month. But this horoscope is for me just as much as it is for you, and I'm looking forward to seeing what we're doing. What are you doing, bud? Where are you going? Cosmo, where are you going? He's peed in here a couple of times, so I think he's still figuring stuff out, and he's young. We just went out not that long ago, though. Might need to take them out again. But anyways, we start out September in September. We start out September in September season. We start out September in Virgo season, which is the mutable earth sign of the zodiac. Sagittarius, we are the mutable fire sign of the zodiac. So when we've got mutable energy in the sky and we have mutable placements, it makes a square. So there's definitely some tension in the air, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just we feel some friction here and there. The area of the horoscope that Virgo hits for the Sagittarius horoscope is the 10th house, which is the house of career and work. So the sun is here highlighting your work life. And, you know, in Virgo, it wants us to take a practical and pragmatic and organized approach to the work that we're doing. It's a very good problem solving energy, analytical energy. It's also the sign that likes to be of service to the world in a material way, health related things, anything that's kind of philanthropic can be a part of that, which Sagittarius also tends to enjoy. So we start out with the sun highlighting that. The other energy that we're starting the month out with is Mercury in the fixed fire sign of Leo. Mercury has been here since last month. It's stationed retrograde in Leo, and now it's direct, but we're finishing up the last stint of it in Leo, and it's passing back over some of the degrees that we already experienced it in at the beginning of the retrograde. So I guess it was in the middle of the retrograde. Let's see. The last time that it was at 22 degrees Leo was August 24th. And so we're starting out September with Mercury at that 22-degree point. So basically, think about what you were experiencing during the retrograde was basically the 24th through, let's see where it goes back to, August 4th, those 10 days. We're starting September out kind of with a reflecting review, direct motion, not so much retrograde, not the reflecting review, but more of like the action over those 2 weeks. So that's something to kind of think about. Where were you during that 10 days and kind of what are you revisiting maybe now that we're not retrograde anymore? The area of the chart that's been hitting for Sagittarius is the area that influences the 9th house, which is the house that Sagittarius traditionally rules. This has to do with values and belief systems, higher education and learning, teaching, the quest for knowledge and truth. This is also the area that rules theology, religion, astrological studies, philosophy, psychology. It's also the house that rules publishing and also the house that rules the law. So any of those things coming up for you, a few or all of the above, that's a theme with Mercury having passed through this house over the last month and starting the month out. So those things are kind of wrapping up. The other energy that we start the month out with is Venus in Libra. So Venus entered Libra at the end of August, and it's going to be in Libra for the majority of September. And the area that this is hitting for the Sagittarius horoscope is the 11th house, which is the house that represents our connection to groups, friendship circles, anything that has to do with us having kind of like a social life. This is highlighted. And Venus is the planet that represents relationships, especially when it's in Libra. It rules Libra. So this is actually a really powerful time for our social calendar. We might really want to connect with people, connect with friends. We might want to be more philanthropic or get involved in our community. The 11th house has to do with our relationship to our communities. If we're in a position where we feel like we want more friends because we're lacking that, you might feel like called to try to cultivate more relationships with people. It's also a really positive time for networking socially in all the ways, like social networking online, in person, all the things. So that's highlighted for you for the first part, the first chunk of September, first 3 weeks. Mars we have in Gemini for the first 4 days of the month, and then it moves into Cancer. So Mars has already been passing through Gemini for a minute, and it has been transiting the area of the horoscope that has to do with your partnerships, your relationships. Mars, when it's passing through the 7th house, can bring challenges and some turbulence around partnership dynamics. So partnership isn't like somebody that you're dating or married to. It can also be a best friendship, and it can also be a business partnership. Any kind of one-on-one relationship is where the 7th house influences. And when Mars is here, we might be dealing with some challenges around that. That's just the first 4 days, but that's what's been going on over the last month. And then it enters Cancer, which we'll talk about when we get closer to talking about that. Jupiter is still in your relationship house and is going to be there for the rest of the year. So Jupiter's already been bringing expansion and growth in relationships with that transit. Saturn is still retrograde in Pisces. Uranus stations retrograde at 27 degrees of Taurus on the 1st of September. The area that that's hitting in the horoscope for you is the area that represents your relationship to your health, wellness, daily routine, and also how you're of service in the world. Uranus brings sudden and unexpected changes for the sake of progress. It's trying to revolutionize and get us out of the mundane. Sagittarius tends to enjoy that because Sagittarius gets bored easily, but it can be detrimental sometimes to health. Taurus does rule the thyroid, so that's something to kind of be mindful of, is thyroid health. Okay, so let's look and see. Neptune is still retrograde in Pisces. Pluto is still retrograde, and it's actually moving on the 1st back into Capricorn, and it'll be at 29 degrees of Capricorn for the entire month of September. Now, Pluto moved into Aquarius, but the last time that it was at 29 degrees Capricorn was December 20th through January 20th. So think back to that time of year and see kind of where your head was at and what you were working through. The area of the chart that this hits for Sagittarius is finances. At 29 degrees with Pluto, we're working through things within the subconscious that have to do with pain into power around our relationship to material stability and money. So this retrograde is a time for you to kind of work on any deeper issues around those themes. On the 2nd, we have a new moon at 11 degrees of Virgo, and this is happening in the area of the chart that has to do with your career. New moons are a great time to set intentions towards things that you want to cultivate and manifest into your life. So this new moon on the 2nd was a really positive time to set intentions around work and career stuff, especially things that have to do with your public image and how you're putting yourself out there in the world in that way. And then after that, we have Mars entering Cancer. That's happening on the 4th of September. Mars is in its fall in Cancer. It's exalted in Capricorn, which is the opposite of Cancer. It does better in Capricorn than it does in Cancer from a traditional standpoint. It is entering the 8th house of the Sagittarius horoscope, and Mars is the ruler of the 8th house. So it's kind of interesting because Mars, does its thing here, but it's in a sign that it's not the most comfortable with. And whenever Mars is transiting a part of our chart, we do experience challenges and action. There's a lot of need to take action. So the 8th house themes that come up for you with Mars here are shared assets and resources, sex, death, rebirth, marriage, inheritance, our connection to esoteric and occult studies, and also our relationship to debts and anything that we might have acquired through loans or banks, things like that. So those are themes for the month of September. If you want a bigger breakdown on Mars and Cancer, I cover that in the September 2024 astrology forecast video. But Mars and Cancer, it can be reactive emotionally, take things personally. There's a lot of need to kind of work on growing and evolving in terms of how we're emotionally processing things. So, we think about all those eighth house themes, and then Mars passing through here. This is an opportunity for growth around all of that and how you're emotionally dealing with it. After that, the next shift of energy we have is Mercury leaving Leo and entering Virgo. The last time Mercury was at 0 degrees Virgo was at the end of July, before it stationed retrograde in August. So think about kind of where you were at the end of July, because we're revisiting that degree point. Mercury is going to be in Virgo for almost 3 weeks, and the area that that's hitting for you is your career area. So again, this is a great time for focusing on the work that you're doing, your career, and your public image, and how you're putting yourself out there and getting really organized. Mercury rules Virgo, and it's a great energy for getting organized and following a checklist or a to-do list and getting really on top of anything in your work life that's demanding your attention. The next big shift of energy that we have after that is on the 17th. We're going to have a lunar eclipse at 25 degrees of Pisces. And the area that this is hitting for the Sagittarius horoscope is the area that's connected to home and family. Lunar eclipses hold a frequency of energy that's really powerful and intense, that's said to last for 6 months. It's said that it's opening a portal, and that for the next 6 months, we're kind of under the influence of this eclipse portal. So, you know, we think of Pisces as the mutable water sign. It's square Sagittarius, but the thing about Pisces and Sagittarius is that you both have Jupiter as your ruling planet in traditional astrology. You're both very spiritual, connected to wanting to seek, you know, that connection to universal consciousness. Sagittarius, it's through knowledge and wisdom and experiences, and Pisces, a lot of times it's through escapism, imagination, creativity, and absorption of what's going on around. So with the home and family energy highlighted, this could bring up a lot of issues around healing that needs to happen within the ancestral lineage and how it's impacting you on a personal level. If you have mother wounds, you know, the moon hitting here like could bring up some of that, or, you know, tied to the mother matriarchal line. That's something that could be coming up for a lot of Sagittarius dominant people, is what mother energy needs to be healed within you over this eclipse portal. If you are a mom, also, this could have to do with you working through your relationship to motherhood and any kind of maybe stereotypes or projections that you need to let go or dissolve. Pisces energy is all about dissolving, and the full moon energy with this eclipse has a lot to do with things shedding and letting go and releasing. I think a lot about the 8 of Cups energy in the tarot, where the figure knows it needs to emotionally let go of things and allow things to fall away and kind of move away from things that are no longer serving it on a deeper level. And that could be with your family and your home structure during this eclipse period. After the lunar eclipse, the next big shift of energy that we're going to have is the fall equinox, where we enter Libra season on the 22nd of September. Libra hits your social area of your chart. So you might feel, those of us who have Sagittarius energy, like our social calendar is starting to get really full again. And then Venus is actually leaving this area of the chart and entering the 12th house of the horoscope. So Venus is going to enter Scorpio on the same day. And when Venus is passing through the 12th house, it can be a really positive time for connecting to your spiritual life, your imagination, and your creativity. It can also bring up, in Scorpio especially, it can bring up any repressed issues, traumatic issues around past relationship dynamics, especially around sex, that still are needing your attention and need to kind of be worked through or healed in some way. So those are themes for you with Venus and Scorpio. After that, the next shift is Mercury entering Libra around the 25th, and that's going to be highlighting that social house with the sun. So again, the whole Libra season and Libra energy that's happening in September is really positive for you networking, meeting people, connecting with friends. It's a super social energy. So you might feel like you're putting out a lot of energy when it comes to your public life and the work that you're doing. This is a very extroverted month for Sagittarius. So luckily, you know, by October, things start to kind of get pulled inward a little bit again, but you're definitely, you know, probably doing more extrovertedly than what maybe you've been used to in previous years. But it can be a really positive time for you if you have goals or things that you're trying to manifest within your community or your work life. All right, Sagittarius, I'm going to leave you there. Good luck with everything. If you liked this video, please hit the like, subscribe button, share with your friends. You can find me at thesobercurator.com or theladyofleisure.com. And if you'd like to book a reading with me, my email will be in the description box. All right, I'll see you guys next month.